just wanted to say hello for 2020. Hope your New Year's resolutions are good and everyone's moving forward and doing something they find interesting with their lives. I am currently about to finish the first draft of a novel that I'm working on about my time in Vietnam and Cambodia and Southeast Asia. And working title is Two Hits of Acid in Cambodia. Terrified that it's not going to be good, and yet so excited and so it just feels like the type of thing that I was put on this planet to do, and I just have to see it through regardless of how anyone ever responds to it. It feels right, and if for nothing more than to express a bunch of things in my life, not just the trip, but also just a tremendous amount of themes that go through a travelogue. I'm currently reading Joan Didion's The White Album. I'm not familiar with this book. I actually saw it at the airport. I don't know if it's a reference to the Beatles album, but she's a phenomenal writer, and she wrote in the 60s and the 70s. Well, that's when her first two books came out, I should say. I'm assuming she wrote screenplays with her husband as well, and a dude named John Gregory Dune, which I'm curious to check out. As a screenwriter myself, I think her writing's really good. One of the things that's very interesting and what's fascinating to me, one of the influences for the novel was, it's a combination of things. It's like there's a little bit of Henry Miller in there. There's a little bit of Hemingway's A Movable Feast, and there's a little bit of Robert Pirsig's Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. What's cool about this is she has a chapter called Sojourns, and she goes through Sojourns. She kind of uses it loosely, but she says in the islands, Sojourns, in the islands, in Bogota, in Hollywood, in bed. There's a bunch of fun stuff, so I'm excited to read that. And she's also got a chapter about Georgia O'Keeffe. She had some really interesting stuff about California. That's where I think she's from, Sacramento, and then spent a lot of time in Los Angeles. I think she currently lives in New York, but I was just a fan of me not being from California but currently living there. There's some really interesting stuff in here, from everything to the Getty to how Ronald Reagan built his own governor's mansion when he was governor of California, and how now it just sits empty. It's a very fascinating book, so I do recommend this. So really what I'm trying to do here with these videos, I'm trying to hold myself accountable, and I'm trying to do some good, like really, really great work. I think my best work is still ahead of me, and it's on me to, I think what happened to me is that I've been lucky enough to have a lot of success in my life and a lot of failures, but I think what has happened to me over the last couple of years is I feel like I've almost become apathetic to the idea that the choices you make determine the quality of your life. And I mean that in terms of, I feel like I've allowed myself to drink the Kool-Aid on, well, life is just going to happen the way it happens. And that regardless of what you do, there's just, things are kind of inevitable. And I've gotten that way because I've tried to do so many things. I've written so many scripts, and I'm now writing this novel, and I've tried a lot in my life. And I know some people, it may be, it can't be completely surprising, but obviously I don't glorify the failures on social media, but for every success, there's 10 to 50 failures. And so I just want to be honest about that process, and just be an example of someone who's trying to go after something that makes them feel alive. And I want to create some transparency with that. And that's where I'm at. So I'm going to be posting a little bit more often. and be talking about things that are inspiring me, like books or music or traveling, or comedy or whatever it is that's getting me going, and then specific goals that I have, that all for hearing some feedback on any of this stuff. If anybody's interested, I'll be posting all this stuff on everything from YouTube to Instagram. But working on this novel, I will be, hopefully, the goal is to make enough. I got to pay some debt off, but the goal is to get funds to finish the Unlikely Assassins project for people who have seen that. I want to do the last 3 episodes of that, and I really, really want to commit and get a late night spot doing stand-up on one of the shows. Ideally, I think my top would be, I think if I had to choose, I'd probably pick The Tonight Show first, just because of Johnny Carson and the lineage of it all. I love Conan. I love Jimmy Kimmel. I love James Corden, what he's doing. Seth Meyers, what he's doing. So yeah, I mean, and not to forget Colbert. I just think he's a genius too. So recording sets this week. I have 12 shows, and the goal is to get that 4.5 minute tape together and get it into the world. At least try. So best of luck with your 2020, and please comment and share and subscribe. I'm going to be putting up more of these videos. Hope you're doing well. To you and yours. Peace.